Hey, how about it, race fans? Richard Allen of InsideDirtRacing.com and InsideCircleTrack.com coming at you with another one of my Rich's ramblings. Something I try to do, maybe one or two times a week just to express some thought about the world of racing. And today I'm going to talk about something that's actually been on my mind for quite a while, and it really came to the forefront this past weekend. This weekend I went to, on Thursday night, a World of Outlaws Case Construction Late Model Series race at the 411 Motor Speedway, and then traveled on down to the Talladega Short Track in Alabama to watch the same series race down there, a $50,000 to win race on Saturday night. And the thing that really struck me, it struck me for a long time, and I just thought this would be a good time to go ahead and say it. I want to thank the promoters who are willing to step out, take the risk to put on races like this, because, obviously without them, I couldn't do what I do if there weren't races to report on. And somebody somewhere has to have the courage, the intelligence, the wherewithal to be able to put on a race such as we saw this weekend. And where this really came to my mind, is watching Adam Stewart at Talladega Short Track, just how hard he was working down there. Always working to try and improve the product. They wound up having a great field of cars, and they had a great crowd on both nights, really. But Saturday night was, in particular, they said it was the biggest crowd in the history of that track. So that was great to see. But it was good to see his hard work and his willingness to take the risk to put on a $50,000 to win race be rewarded as it was. So that was great. And the same thing's true, had here in Tennessee, we had those big races at Volunteer Speedway, the Flow Racing, or it was actually the Kyle Larson Late Model Challenge, but the folks at Flow Racing were really behind that to put that on, as well as, the folks who got the track ready at Volunteer Speedway, Vic Hill and his crew. And then we had the XR Super Series to also race up there, the 100,000 to win race. So that was great. Again, somebody had to be willing to organize that, to put that on, and willing to take the risk involved in hosting such a big race. And around here in East Tennessee, and I know I shouldn't do this, but there are several folks that are just very good at what they do when it comes to promoting racing. And I know when I start naming names that I'm going to forget somebody. I'm not forgetting anybody intentionally. I'm not leaving anybody off intentionally. It's because I guess I'm old and just forget things. But like I said, Adam Stewart, not only does he run Talladega Short Track, he runs Crate Racing USA series, which is very well run. I've watched him for years conduct his drivers' meetings. Always had a lot of respect for how he conducts his business. So I was glad to see him be rewarded, because I know the hard work that he put in. From my perspective, doing what I do, I kind of get a look that a lot of fans don't get, as far as being able to see all that goes into putting on one of these shows. And I know that it's a tremendous amount of work. You don't just show up and unlock the gate and then at the end of the night take a barrel full of money to the bank. It doesn't work that way. There's a lot of risk involved. There's a lot of planning involved. If I were to be a promoter to run a track or a series, I wouldn't even know step one. I wouldn't know the first thing that you're supposed to do. Yet these folks seem to pull it off so seamlessly. I said, I went to 411 Motor Speedway to see the World Outlaws race there. Mitch McCarter and his team, they do such a really good job there. All the McCarters that are involved. The tracks at 411, the track just always seems to be great. They really know and understand their racing surface, and it seems like they produce a consistently good racing surface every time. They're very good at putting on the show. They're very efficient, so I certainly appreciate the McCarter as well. Roger and Casey Sellers, they're sponsors of the website of InsideDirtRacing.com, but Smoky Mountain Speedway, talk about somebody willing to take a risk. They've shown that they're willing to take risks. They have that $50,000 to win Lucas Oil race, which they've had now for a couple of years. And not only that, they felt like it was in the best interest to reconfigure the track. They've shortened the track up a little bit and done a tremendous amount of work there, gone to a lot of expense, a lot of risk involved in doing something like that. So, I certainly appreciate their efforts in more ways than one. Like I said, they sponsor the website. So I certainly wish the best for Smoky Mountain Speedway all the time. I mean, like I said, we got great folks running. Gary Hall up at Tazewell Speedway. Tazewell is one of those tracks where it needs to be on every racing fan's bucket list. If you've never seen a race at Tazewell Speedway, you've got to go there sometime. You'll be awestruck by the banking and the speed that they carry around that track. Well, that couldn't happen if you didn't have somebody like Gary who's willing to take that risk, to put in all that work that goes on, not only preparing the track surface, getting the concession stand ready. Like I said, I wouldn't even know where to begin. How many hot dog buns do you need? I don't have a clue. Getting the restrooms ready. My sons and I, actually, a couple of years ago after the Lucas Oil race at Smoky Mountain, contracted the job to clean up after the race was over. And, man, that's just one aspect of it. That was incredibly hard. There was a lot of work went into that, and I can't imagine. I only did that one thing, and it essentially put me in the hospital. But somebody has to be in charge of doing all of that all the time, and making sure that you got somebody to work the ticket booth and work in the concession stand, and race officials, race directors, competition directors, and all that sort of stuff. So, people like Gary Hall and people like Roger and Casey Sellers, Mitch McCarter, Adam Stewart, you just can't thank them enough for what they do. And then, not only that, I mean, there's these series promoters as well. I mean, like Ray Cook, involved with the Southern Nationals that he puts on, the Schaefer's Oil Southern Nationals. That's always one of my favorite times of year when the Southern Nationals roll around and go to those races, consecutively, night after night. So not only, that's entertaining for the fans, and it's great for somebody like me who runs a website and who reports on stuff. It gives me a lot of content to work with, but somebody behind the scenes has to be doing the work. And, it's a guy like Ray Cook doing that. And not only that, he runs the Tri-County Racetrack, which is one of my favorite places to go to as well. It seems like the racing's always great there. He does a great job preparing the track and everything. You've got Chris Tilley with the Valvoline Ironman series. He does a great job having things organized, setting his racers up in positions to succeed. He does a very good job at that, so it's always great. Dwayne Keith, who's so involved, Dwayne Keith is the voice of the Southern All-Stars, but I know he does a lot of work behind the scenes too. And so, these are great people who are working hard, who are putting on these shows, who are doing a great job of stuff we never even think about when we're at a racetrack. When a toilet clogs during the night in the restroom, somebody's got to take care of that. You got to go do it yourself, or you have to have a plan for somebody to go do it. Or what if you start running low on pizza in the concession stand or something? Somebody, I guess, is going to run out to Little Caesars or whatever and pick up a few more. So you have all that kind of stuff going on. The promoter's work doesn't begin at the time when the gate opens. The promoter's work is never ending. It starts well before the race, days before races ever start, and they're the last ones to leave the track. So they're going to be doing all this work associated. Then you got to come back, like I said, you got to clean up the trash. You got all the stuff that goes on so that you can be ready for the next event. So again, this my most sincere thanks to people who are willing to take those risks and put on those shows and do all that hard work. I couldn't do what I do without them, so I'm certainly appreciative, and I know many other people are. It seems like every time you look on social media, you go on Twitter or Facebook or something, somebody's always complaining about this, that, or the other. Hopefully, those people who just want to complain, there's some people, they just want to complain no matter what. You could give them the best show in the world and charge them only $10 to get in. They're still going to find some reason to complain about it. But I'm hoping that the silent majority appreciates what's being done behind the scenes to put on these races, and just that very vocal little minority are the ones who are doing all the complaining. But like I said, this was just meant to offer my thanks to people who do what they do to make races happen. Until the next time, I'll see you at the track. This is Richard Allen of InsideDirtRacing.com. Thanks for taking the time to listen.